Thank you so much, everyone, for coming. My name is Haley Myers-Dillon. I'm the director of Sacramento State's Parents and Families program. And today we have our second day of welcome for parents whose students are moving in on campus. We are recording our session in case you're not able to join us live for our discussion, and we're going to hear from a few campus partners at Sac State to welcome you to our Hornet family. First, we're going to hear from Kate Smith, who's the director of the Well.
Sure. So good afternoon, everyone. Thank you, Haley, for asking me to join. As Haley said, my name is Kate Smith, and I am the director of the Well, which is our recreation and wellness center that we have here on campus. So our facility is around 151,000 square foot facility. It houses our campus recreation program as well as student health and counseling. So in a typical year, I'll go through kind of what we normally look like, and then we'll transition to during COVID, what we are offering our students. But in a typical year, our campus recreation program offers fitness, intramurals, indoor soccer, basketball, rock climbing, racquetball, volleyball, and a variety of other drop-in recreation opportunities for students. And then we also staff the Yosemite pool, which is on campus. It's not in our facility, but it is elsewhere on campus, and we offer lap swimming. And then we offer outdoor intramural opportunities, including softball, soccer, and flag football. And that's usually both in the fall and spring semesters. Also in our facility, I mentioned student health and counseling is here. And so that includes primary care, health and wellness promotion, counseling services, a pharmacy, as well as a cooking kitchen. So our health and wellness team offers healthy cooking demos throughout the year. And it also includes urgent care for any walk-in appointments. Our hours, again, in a typical year for recreation, we are open Monday through Thursday from 6 a.m. to midnight, Fridays from 6 a.m. to 10 p.m., and then Saturday 8 to 8, and Sunday is 10 to 10. Part of the fees for both student health and counseling as well as campus recreation are paid as part of your student's tuition. So there's no additional fee for membership for the recreation side, and the health center fees also cover the majority of services. There are some obviously prescription and some procedures that will have out-of-pocket costs, but in general, the majority of our services are covered through your student fees. Now here we are during COVID, and we have had to pivot as everyone else has, but we have really remained committed to offer as many services as we can virtually through our Instagram page, as well as our website. And I'll give you those at the end here. But in general, for recreation, we are not open for indoor opportunities right now. So your students can find us on Instagram as well as our website. And we are currently offering live fitness classes each week. Starting next week, we're actually going to have about 30 virtual classes. So that's quite a few offerings. We will have climbing workshops through Zoom, also mindfulness, meditation, semester preparation workshops, inclusive fitness, and we are going to launch a free personal training program just for students. And so this will include an assessment as well as 3 sessions with one of our certified personal trainers that again will be conducted virtually. And then we will have various trivia contests and sports trivia nights that again can all be done virtually. As far as student health goes, they are open in person 8:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. Monday through Friday. You do have to make an appointment. And again, you can do that on their website, or you can give them a phone call and I can go through all the contact information for you. And then they do offer quite a bit of telehealth services. So students can meet with a counselor or primary care physician and do so over telehealth as well. But they have remained open during the summer, and I anticipate they will continue to remain open despite any sort of virtual academic classes that are being offered. So where do you find us? Our website is thewell@sacstate.com. You can also go to the Sac State website and search within that browser. Our Instagram handle @WellSacState. Instagram is probably our #1 mode of communication for students right now. And then student health and counseling. They are also embedded in the Sac State website. So that's the csus.edu /student life and then health and counseling. So that's the best way to find the most updated information of what we're offering. I think I'll pause there because I know I only had a certain amount of time.
Thanks, Kate. So as you all can tell, we want your students to remain active, even though it's hard to, find ways to do that now as we transition from being able to go to the gym. I think some of us are still transitioning to being on campus, but the Well has a ton of virtual opportunities for your students to still be involved. So please check out all those resources that Kate mentioned, and we'll be sure to get that in our description on the video. Next, I'd like to introduce Tom Carroll, who is our Assistant Dean of Students and the University Conduct Coordinator.
And I'm having a little bit of issue with my webcam. It keeps losing me. So I'll bring myself back here, hopefully. Either way, I'm going to present to you the Dean of Students office is where I work out of. And the Dean of Students office is a central resource for students that may require support, and as well as students who might be concerned, or for anyone else who's concerned about a student who may be struggling with a crisis, conflict, or a need for connection to community life. The Dean of Students, who is Bill McChris, oversees many offices that help students, are set up to help students. Within my work, I directly support 3 offices. Those 3 offices, one of which is the CARES office, or the Crisis Assistance Resource Education and Support Office. It's an office that directly supports students who are in crisis and experiencing very unique challenges to their education. And they help students and coordinate referrals to community resources for students who might have transportation issues, barriers, mental health and wellness challenges. They make referrals to our Well counseling service. And then they also help students who might have physical health or housing issues or housing challenges. So they help make referrals to different housing areas and places. I also help support our Service for Students with Disabilities office, and that's also known as SSWD. And they offer accommodations, or they help support the accommodations services that are needed to ensure students who have disabilities have equal access and opportunities to pursue their educational goals. If you are a new parent to Sac State and maybe your student had accommodations from high school, there's a different process that exists in college, and I would recommend that you reach out to the Students for Service with Disabilities office as soon as possible so that we can start the process, get the application in, and make sure those accommodations are happening here at Sac State. Lastly, Haley mentioned that I am also the Student Conduct Administrator for the university, which means that I also oversee the Student Conduct office. And I support the disciplinary process for Sacramento State when students violate what's called the Student Code of Conduct. In all of the offices I described, one of the questions Haley asked, does our office, are we going to be virtual? Are we going to be providing services? And the answer is yes. We are virtual in all of the offices. For students who are working with SSWD, if they're in an online class, SSWD will support them on campus for that online class if it is a accommodation that needs an online class, such as someone needing testing accommodations. They might be able to access the testing center on campus. It will be open by appointment for those students. But everything else has been moved online, and we're able to support all of our students through Zoom calls, through regular calls, through Microsoft Teams. There's so many different ways that we've been able to accomplish our goals to help maintain the same level of students, the same level of service. Clearly, if it was up to us, we'd all rather be on campus because having that person-to-person engagement is much better for us, and I think it's more rewarding for the student. But during these times, this is where we are. I think that answers your questions, Haley. If I missed anything, let me know.
Yeah, thank you, Tom. And next, I'd like to have Emily DeFazio say hello and introduce herself.
Hi, everyone. My name's Emily. I am Haley's outreach assistant for the Parents and Families program. I'm happy to be with you all today to get to know you and welcome you to the campus. I hope we can answer some of your questions.
Thanks, Emily. So the Parents and Families program is hosting this event. We're here to support you. My name's Haley. I'm the director of the Parents and Families program. I hope to talk with you and work with you this semester. Shout out Donna Baker. I've seen you on some of our town hall Zooms already. So be sure to sign up for our e-newsletter at our website, csus.edu/parents. We have town hall Zooms every 2 weeks, starting this Friday, the 28th at 11 a.m. And you'll get that Zoom link in our e-newsletter. Yeah, we'd love to see you on there. So the purpose of today is to welcome you all to our Hornet family. We know you've got students moving in on campus, and it's a quite a choice and a responsibility to live on campus. And so we want to know what questions you have. We wanted to introduce you to a couple of the people behind the services that your students have access to, and just see what's on your minds. What can we help you with? So you can either type in the chat or you can unmute yourself. And we already had one question in the chat about online versus in-person questions. And Dante, did you feel
Hello,
like that answered? Hello, is your name, what is your name?
Marilyn. Marilyn Ogaldez.
Hi, Marilyn, how you doing?
Good, good. My son is there on campus right now at River Hall. I wanted to find out what happens in the winter time as far as housing. Do they get to stay? I mean, keep that I'm sorry, the little apartment. I don't know what they're called. I can't think of.
Sure,
Do they
sure.
get to stay where they're staying now? In the fall, do they have to move out after November or something like that?
Sure, Samuel.
Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Samuel Jones. I'm the interim executive director for University Housing. So to answer your question, Marilyn, they need to come back home to you at some point in time. Don't you want them back home with you?
I do.
Just kidding.
But
So
right now
basically-
it seems like he doesn't want to come back home with me. Go ahead, please.
No problem. So basically what's going to happen is that the rooming assignment that the students have for the fall semester could be their rooming assignment for the spring semester. It really depends on what's going on with the COVID-19. So we guaranteed every single student the room that they have is just for the fall semester. So spring semester, if we're able to repopulate the campus and double occupancy, then students will be moved back into their double rooms or to other buildings on campus. So when we close the halls in December, I wish I had those dates, I'll look for them. We do close the halls in December. They can keep everything that they have in their room. They don't have to do anything whatsoever until spring semester when we give them additional information on what's happening spring semester.
I see.
And if your student is a winter break athlete, or if sports are on for athletes, then they can remain in that space, but there are additional fees that are associated if they need to stay over for winter break for practice or something like that. But otherwise, we're not kicking them out on fall semester. At any point in time until we close the halls.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thanks, Marilyn. Donna, did you have a question?
I do, please. Thank you. I feel like I don't want to say a stalker, but I feel like I'm watching everything and I'm not sure my daughter's receiving it very well, but that's the way I function. The dining hall. What's the dining hall? She is moving in tomorrow into Riverview. So what does the dining hall respectfully look like, and maybe the showering, bathrooms? I don't have any idea of what we're looking at tomorrow.
Perfect. Where, Donna, where's your student living?
She'll be in Riverview in a single.
Okay. So, so a couple of things there. First, I'm always a jokester. Stalking-like behavior, I'll have to give you to Tom, and then Tom will document you and deal with you for stalking people. But anyway, literally when you come tomorrow, you'll see where she's lived. She said she, right?
Yes, sir.
Your daughter. You'll see the room that she's living in. So if she's in a pod, if she's on a single side of the room and in her reservation, if she saw 8 other people, then those are the 8 people that are in her pod, and they all share one restroom. And that restroom is dedicated for those students. If she didn't get a pod assignment and it was just a single room, then she's on the other side of the building. And so there's about 10 or 11 students that are assigned to a specific restroom. So when you get here, you'll see it's a larger restroom, but it's only accommodating those 10 or 11 students that live in that pod area. Because typically, if it's on the first year side of the building, there are 4 restrooms on the floor, and students can choose between 3 restrooms to use. We're only assigning a specific number of people to a specific restrooms. So that's what she'll see that. Then there's a schedule. If she's on that side of the building, there will be a schedule for showering. The only reason why there's a schedule for showering is because we need to make sure that the custodial staff has an opportunity to clean the rest of the room, the rest of the restroom, so that we know that they're not showering while the custodians are actually cleaning the restroom. So there'll be a time when the restroom is going to be totally closed for cleaning, except for the fact that they need to use the restroom. They can still go in there to do that. As far as the servery at the DC, it is open. It will be open for students. It opened yesterday for students, and they can go in for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. It's grab and go. So they'll go to each of the individual stations and they'll get their food, and they can request what they want, and they'll get a to-go container at each different location that they go to. It's still all you can eat, and so the students can definitely get as much as they want while they're there. And then once we're allowed to have indoor dining, then the dining server, then they'll be able to eat inside of the facility. But until then, it's grab and go. The courtyard market, they can still use that because they have points in their meal plan to use there. That's going to be open the standard hours that we have posted for them to be able to go in there. The only major thing about dining is how many people are allowed to be in the servery at any given time. Right now, it's 12 people in the servery, so there may be a line when the students come in, but the servery is going to be looking at that to make sure that it's manageable so students can get what they need when they leave.
Awesome.
So, and I'll stop with my bad jokes.
No, of course, absolutely. But so Mr. Jones, my question, if it's grab and go, I mean, they're already in their room. Are they going back to their room to eat? Is there any opportunity, I mean, masked, 6 feet apart at a table? How is there to be some social distance? Perfect.
That is a great question, and you froze. You froze. Okay, that's a great question. So it's against county public health to have indoor dining. So we're not allowed to have any indoor dining until they say it's okay. However, you've asked a great question. Today, my team is working with a company that's going to come and move all of our outdoor seating to places around the quad so students can do that. We noticed that Tuesday night that students were trying to eat outside, but they couldn't socially distance because we just didn't have enough outdoor seating for them. We actually are putting that together today so that they can come out, they can eat outside with their friends, etc. They can still eat in their room if they want to. We're trying to not have people eating in their room because we want them to socialize with each other. But there's only so much we can do in order to maintain physical distances for that to happen. So when you come tomorrow, you'll see the outdoor seating for students. You'll see there are lounges and kitchens in the building that students can reserve a key. They can reserve that space online and they can just go in there and eat if they wanted to, or they can eat in their room. We just have to lock every space for students. We're actually going to open the terrace. We have a terrace in Riverview, so students can go up on the terrace and eat if they want to as well. So there'll be plenty of places for them to eat outside while the weather is nice. And then when it gets colder inside, hopefully by that time we'll be able to have indoor seating in the servery. If not, they still have lounge space in the building that they can reserve to go in at any point in time.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Samuel, we have a question from, I'm not sure how to pronounce your name, Leroy or Leroux, who's asking what the housing units are supplied with in terms of like what furniture comes in there.
It's the typical standard furniture in all of our buildings. The students, because it's so hard to tell between where the student lives. If the student is living in Riverview, they're going to have their bed, desk, and wardrobes. If they're in a double room that's actually a super single, it's going to be double the furniture that's going to be in the room. If they're in the American River courtyard, they actually have, if they're in a studio, it's going to be a studio by themselves. So it's just the bed, desk, wardrobe, or closet, depending on the type of room, and an interior restroom. If they're in a suite, then they'll have a kitchenette, and they'll also have a living room with living room furniture. And Haley, I'll put this in the chat when I get a second. If you go to our website, it specifically tells you exactly what's in there. So I will put that link in the chat, so you can just click on that link, and then you'll see all the different things that come in each room.
And in American River Courtyard, can the students rent a small refrigerator from you, from housing?
You can if you would like. I just don't recommend it in this American River Courtyard because they have a big refrigerator in their kitchenette that they have. But if they're in a suite and they want one in their individual rooms, again, they can do that. But that information is on our website. So it'd be easier if I just put the website in there, and you can click on the move in website, and I'll take you direct to it. So you can, if you want to order a refrigerator, you can.
So Leroy, your student has a couple choices. They can get a little fridge, rent it for their room, or they can use the big common fridge, which is free. Some people may think people are going to take their food. Any other questions? How are people feeling? Marilyn's feeling good. That's good. Olivia, I haven't heard from you at all. Jamila, I
Okay,
haven't
can you
heard
hear me
from
now?
you. Yeah.
Great. Let's see. Regarding packages that we send, do they come to the hall, or do they go to the mail center, or what happens there? And then is all of this that you just discussed, do they get that in a packet when they arrive that they read about? Or I guess that's it.
Of course, you know me, I'm going to start with a joke. We send them emails. They just don't read our emails. So yes, the information is typically sent to the students, but they don't read any of our emails. But once they get here, rest assured, the resident advisors and the residence life coordinators are giving the students all this information. So they won't be lost when they get here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to provide you all with the information, some of the information that we send to the students through our website, so that you can see the different things that we have there for the students to get to. Packages are, their address is on the website, and for the American River Courtyard or for Riverview, but all packages come into Riverview, and then the students will be receiving an email when they receive their package, and then it tells them when to come pick up their packages and everything like that. So they'll get that email. The only thing that that happens during move-in is because we're physically distancing ourselves, that the mailroom is not open until, I think it's open from 7 to 9 or from 5 to 7 at night, so people can get stuff when they get here. If you arrive and you realize, hey, I want to set their bedding up before you leave, and the mail center is closed, just talk to one of the resident advisors or the residence life coordinator, and they'll make sure that they work with you to get that out of the mail center while it's closed.
Okay, so she should already have met the resident advisor, because I feel like she's like holed up in a tree like a chipmunk.
Don't tell me that, because now I gotta go talk to my staff. They should have reached out to her. If you want to do me a favor, if you want to privately send me a message through the chat, I won't tell her that you asked about it, but I can make sure that somebody goes by and says hello to her. I can promise you that.
Thank you.
No problem.
So we have a question from Dante in the chat. He's wondering if there's a maximum size for the fridge. And Samuel, do you think that they just need to measure in there, or are the specs on the website?
Yeah, the specs are on the website, and I'll try to put that in the chat because I don't know right offhand. There are policies. So we have policies for what students can and cannot bring to campus. And we also tell you about the size as well. It's easier if they want a micro fridge to rent one from the company that we utilize, because then the company will make sure it's in place for the student. But if you want to purchase a refrigerator and a microwave, you just have to go by the document that we have that tells you what the size can be and the watts, amps.
Thanks. Regina is saying that her son moved in Tuesday. Compliments to housing staff. Everyone was super friendly and well organized. Hooray. Glad you're happy and your student is happy. Marilyn said her son moved in on Tuesday as well, and she was impressed with the housing staff. Woo woo. Thank you to everyone. Donna said she's in a single room. Can my husband and I stay with her to set up her room? Samuel, I think I know that answer. I think the answer is no, Donna.
You can stay for an hour and then you have to leave. unfortunately. But we're not going to go kick you out after 1 hour and say you need to go. We're trying our best to limit how many people can come into the building. So your daughter is allowed 2 people to go with her. Everybody's wristband. And so you can go in there. And it's taken people probably between an hour and a half to get everything moved in and get things set up. And then as soon as you've done that, you have to move your car after an hour to a different location so that we can get other people moved in. But then after that, we're not going to go upstairs, knock on your door and tell you to leave. We won't do that, but we do expect you to leave at a reasonable amount of time. If you're in a suite, that becomes the biggest issue, because a suite there could be 1 other person living in the other room or 2 other people living in another room. We do ask that everybody leave right after that, because the other people want to move in as well. And we're trying to make sure that your safety and the physical distances are being honored. So you just have to work with the staff and with the students when it comes to that. I got a feeling I'm going to see Donna tomorrow. Am I going to see you tomorrow, Donna? I'll be here. Stop by and say hello to me.
Thanks, Samuel. We've still got a few minutes. Does anyone else have any questions or anything they want to chat about?
I have a question.
Hi, Joanna. Sure.
Just curious, I'm assuming that there's fees that are involved in, the semester and stuff. And are those fees reduced for certain things that maybe aren't offered now because of COVID, or are they still paying all the same fees but just don't have, the same things offered to them?
Hey, Joanna. Right now, there hasn't been any change in tuition and fees. So the university is operating virtually, and for the most part, they have most of the services that they had available virtually. But that's a pretty common question and a pretty common complaint from parents and from students alike. And there's definitely a lot out there on the internet right now about people, asking this same question. So at this point, that hasn't changed. That's all the information I have right now.
Okay. And then the other question is it, my daughter's trying to decide if she wants to park in the structure or lot. I'm assuming lot 2 is not covered. Is it fine to just get the parking permit when we get there on, I think her moving day is Saturday. Can we just get a parking permit at that time, and can we see which place she wants to park, and then she could do it at that time?
Samuel, can you help with that?
She's not going to want to park in the structure. Lot 2 is probably where all the students will be parking. And the reason why I say that is because it's based on demand. We have about 400 students living on campus. All of them will be assigned Lot 2, which is right directly in the residence halls versus the parking structure.
Okay. And Lot 2 is uncovered though?
Yeah. I'm sorry?
Lot 2 is uncovered parking?
It's uncovered parking. So what she wants to do is she needs to go online to request it, because that's the only way to do it currently. Depending on what time you get here tomorrow, whether or not UTAPs will be open to go into an in-person parking. Now, if you're saying that she wants covered parking, that could be a question for UTAPs. I just don't believe they're going to sell the parking structure 5 unless there's a demand for it, because they usually start with Lot 2.
I see. Okay.
Thanks, Joanna. All right, everyone. Well, that is the end of our parent welcome for today. We have a virtual parent lounge this afternoon at 4 o'clock. Please join us for that. That's a more casual space, so you can come meet other parents, hang out, chat. Some of our parent ambassadors will be there. I will have my student assistant, Emily, post this video to both the housing website and the parents and families website. We'll put contact information for the people you met in the description. And please remember, we're here to help you. We're here to answer questions. And we are so happy to welcome you to the Hornet family. Thanks for stopping by.
Can I sneak in one more question about if we're having parent portal problems?
Okay.
Who would she contact? Like, I haven't been able to go on, and she hasn't been able to figure out why not.
For the payment?
Yeah, I have some payment, but there's more coming.
For the tuition and fees payment?
Yeah.
Yeah, so you have to develop a parent PIN to pay, and that communication is sent to her student center.
Okay.
And so there's kind of a piece where you're trying to pay the bill, but the communication is being sent to your student. And so it would be best if you just both sit down at her student center and try together. If possible, I recommend that you use an electronic check instead of a credit card, because a credit card will assess a percent fee, where if you enter your bank account information, it's a flat fee of $5. Your face looks skeptical, like you're not going to be able to sit down with her.
She's in California. I'm in Seattle.
Oh, okay.
She went yesterday.
So Livia, if you can send me your email address, I will send you in a link the online instructions on how to do that. And I can send it to your student as well in the same email. And I can say, hello, here are the instructions to pay. You both need to do this together. So you could do it on Zoom and share your screen. That's one option.
Oh, great. All right. Thank you. That might work. I appreciate it.
Ellie, if she talks to her RA can set up something with you too, and the RA can walk her through it as well and walk you both through it and be able to take care of that through a Zoom as well.
Thank you.
Haley?
Yes,
hi, a question with regard to Olivia's question. Does that also apply to the housing fee? I mean, yesterday I paid some of the tuition fee. There was a fee that I was supposed to pay, and I went online on my son's account and I was able to pay that. However, it would not allow me to even pay the housing fee that's due on the 4th of September. And is that why it didn't allow me? It's because I have to establish a parent PIN?
Samuel, can you speak to housing payment online?
I can. So it's one account. So when you go online to pay, it's just going to tell you what the balance is for your student's account, and tuition and fees and housing payments are all posted there. If you send through private chat, if you want to, or you can email me at samuel.jones@csus.edu. I can look it up and tell you, because we want our money. So I can look you up and tell you whether or not everything is paid up on your student's account. That'd be an easy thing for me to do.
Okay, samuel.jones, I'm sorry, at?
csus.edu. Haley just put it in the chat. Thanks, Haley.
Okay, great, got it.
Thank you. I'm using the GET program, and it takes a good solid 2 weeks to get anywhere. So I really want to stay on top of this.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, thank you.
Well, it was great to meet you all. Thank you so much for joining us. And I look forward to getting to know each of you as your student starts the semester. Thank you, everyone.
Thanks, Haley, Samuel.
No,
thank you.